Hello, welcome to this video. I will first show around my layouts and my show. I have a grid with 8 spotlights. Um, this one, MMX. Sorry, 12 of them. I'm touring with a band, and every day I have different amount of spotlights, but also a different brand or type. So I'm used to morph and clone the spots for years already. But I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this as quick as possible. So normally when I say, okay, these spotlight 1 and 2 are always on the left, upstage left, like these two. That's an important thing, I think, because then when you're morphing to the new rig the next day, you also take these two lights and you morph them from these two. So if you are pre-programming a show and you have spotlight 1 and 2 at this position for a drummer solo or something, then it will work everywhere. But if you are in a rush or you don't want to have so much calculating for all different solo places, then it will be easier to just have a dynamic group, just like one group, like upstage left, stage left, upstage right. I see it's changed. It doesn't matter. This would be easier, so you don't have to calculate which spotlight needs to be which position and which address. I will explain this later, how I found a workaround for this. So, another thing why I was searching for a dynamic group thing was that I make all these beam and color palettes for these spotlights. I have a lot of them. These are my beam palettes. Well, not that much colors, but I'm very specific with some kind of pastel colors like pink, CTO, and white, of course, for all the LED fixtures these days. It's very important to have the right values in this one, I think. So, it would be great if you don't have to make these palettes again and again every day when you have these fixtures again. So I was thinking about why not keeping one spotlight for every type. On the end of your patch, give them a very new number like 1002, 10,002, 10,003. So I have a DLX from a few days ago, a mega pointy, and all the values are already stored in my palettes. It would be great if Chamsys would have copy palette data functionality from this spotlight to my home rig, my static rig, but I don't think that's already working. So what I'm doing now, when I arrive at a new venue, I throw away all these spotlights and I take the one that's hanging there, like the mega pointy maybe, and I just clone it for 16 times, and like the amount of lights I have at the venue, and then I give them the new numbers, and then all my beam and color palettes, they are already finished, they are working. Problem is, when you have programmed a solo position, like I explained in the start of my video with spotlight 1 and 2, then you just throw away the Q reference to these two spotlights. because only these two spotlights had information in that solo and not this one on 10,002. So there is another option to work around this, and that's with importing palettes from past shows. But the problem is it will paste these palettes on the same position as they were in the old show. So my beam open, if it's in the old show also on number 1, then it will paste it in the first free area, and it's here. So it will be a mess, and because you have the same names, you won't remember anymore which are the new palettes and which are the old ones. And it also takes a lot of time to say group 1 beam, that new beam open, store or record that one. You need to do it for all the beam palettes. There is an opportunity to move this all to 101, and then the new ones will be copied from 1. So you know these are the new ones, these are the old ones. But it's a lot of a lot of hassle, I think. So also that's not an option. So I will explain what I just tried last few weeks. I made a few groups. Today there are 2 lights in this one, 2 in this, 2 in that, 2 in that. I made these groups after I made one position. That's my band position. Like all spotlights go to position band. They're already inside because it's my default value also. So let's say this is a cross in, then I have my band position. I have 5 band members. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After doing this at the start of the day in a festival or in a venue, I look at the spotlight numbers. Like spotlight 1 and 2 are on the drummer, so that's upstage left, and then I just store it inside that group. I look into the piano player. Oh, that's upstage right, upstage left. That's my number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I store it in that group. Let's check it out. Yes, 5 and 6 in that one. Okay. And 21, 22. Yeah, I changed these, so let's put it on the right position. Right there. We go there. Yes, 1 and 2. What I did, I made some group FX out of these groups. So on every page, I have a lot of pages with songs. There are some solos, a lot of them actually. Sometimes on the drummer, sometimes on the keyboard player, sometimes on the bass or guitar. A lot of them on the lead singer, and sometimes I put them in red, sometimes in white, sometimes maybe with some beam information, sometimes at full, sometimes with an effect. I cannot update all these pages every time again after cloning when arriving in a new venue because it takes a lot of time. So I was thinking about this group FX. So let's go to this one. Okay, this is the song, and to make it a little much easier, I changed the color from my execute window just to red, only for this video. Okay, and at one time in the song there is a keyboard solo, and the name of the guy is Jasper. So there's 2 lights in that group. Just go to his position. And what's happening now is like it's this. I will include this so you can see in the program what I did. I have a dim J, so whatever happens, they will always go at full. I put the size of the dim J's at 100, so it actually stays at full. I have a 2 color effect. With color 1 is white, color 2 is also white, so it's like a trick. So the desk thinks I'm running an FX, but I'm just making these spotlights color white. You see, I've got these group 32, 32, 32 everywhere, and that's this one. So that's great. Let's go back to the programmer. The last one is interesting. The 2 position FX. Position 1 is my band position. Position 2 also. So the desk is thinking about making an FX over these 2 positions, so nothing happens. They just stay on the band position. This works very good for me in this situation, but let's check it out. When I release this one, I will show you my fader options. I made it in fader controls FX size, so that means that you can like put the size of the FX on the fader, so you see it's moving a little bit. I like to have the feeling of the FX under my hands. Okay, if I do it very slow, it works. If I do it a little faster, whoa, did you see that? It's like an error or something. I don't know what's happening here, but this is the big problem I have. It cannot release. Maybe it's because of my release time. I can put that one to 0. But also then it jumps. It jumps back to a strange. It cannot. It's like it cannot crossfade between 2 FXs. Another thing is when I have a movement for all my spotlights, and I put the solo position inside. I would like to have the 2-time release back, 2 seconds back. Okay, you see this is perfect. I have a running funny thing on stage, music is bouncing, and there's a solo. So the spots are like standing on that guy. Okay, when his solo is finished, I would like to release. And do some strange things then, before they come back. You can see it maybe a little bit better if I make this one a little bit bigger. I have my speed on this fader, so it's a really slow movement now. Let's put the solo back in. It's perfect. Okay, and solo is finished. Big, 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 and then they jump back. Like after the 2 seconds release time, I think. So this is what's happening, and I have it on a lot of places. Works most of the times. Oh yeah, another thing when it's not working, it's when you are in the same position as the band, like this one. If you check my output, I am starting in the band position the whole song, all the spotlights. If I now make an effect for the, let's say, the lead singer in open white, so add group effects, color, circle, white, white, and then group, add group effects. I want to have band. Okay, let's save this. Did you see what happened there? I will zoom in a little bit, and it snaps. I will put the rotation off. It's better, I think. Like, oh, sorry. This was nice. Anyway.